Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 80 of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm out here on the East Coast where it's getting a little windy, a little cool. But joining me, as always, my very good friend, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, all the way out in the West Coast, Mr. David Bash.
Hey,
David,
Mark, how are you?
great. How you feeling tonight?
Well, honestly, I'm, if you can tell, I'm still suffering from some sort of chest infection. I know it's not COVID. I've tested several times. It's something that I get every now and again, where there's just a whole bunch of buildup of phlegm in my chest, and I just have to cough it out,
Yeah.
which sometimes takes several days. So I'm still going through that. I haven't had a fever for the past probably about 6 days, so that's a good thing. But it's just something I have to do. If I still have it by Monday, I'll go to my doctor. But usually it's something that just works its way out of me. Um, I got it after we got back from Boston last week. From IPO Boston is when I started to develop the symptoms. And yeah, it sometimes does last a couple of weeks, but otherwise I'm glad to be home. The IPOs on the East went very well. They were a lot of fun. New York, Boston, and Hamilton, Ontario. Now I have to work out my plans for IPO next year, and I'm not sure. There may be some drastic changes. I don't know yet. Rena and I are talking this over. Um, there'll be some cities that will always do until I stop doing IPO completely.
Right.
But we may be dropping some cities off of the roster. Not yet, Andy, unfortunately, but
Andy,
I'm
good
getting
evening.
there. We'll see how it all shakes out. I say that sometimes during the year, and then when it's time to actually set up the show, it's like, I can't drop that city, it's too good, or I miss it, I'm gonna miss it, and then we end up doing all of them anyway. So who knows? We'll see how
As long as you're
it
back
goes.
on the horse and you're doing IPO, I know everybody really enjoys it. All the cities that you bring it to, and the bands that get the opportunity to play in front of people that appreciate what they do. So
No, I'm gratified that the bands appreciate it, and I appreciate them more than they know.
yeah.
I probably haven't been as good at expressing that as maybe I could be. But anybody who's in a band, who's playing IPO, who's listening to this show, just know that I am very grateful for your attendance, for the lending us of your talents. Not just me, but everybody who comes to see you. It really means a lot. I do my best to put people on bills with other like-minded bands,
Right.
and I think anybody who is able to hang around for the whole show, and I'm talking about musicians, they usually agree. They'll say, "Yeah, these other bands are great." So that's what we try to do. That's what we've tried to do for the past 23 years, and the one thing I really need to work on, and our last week's guest, Dave Boogeyman, pointed this out, is need to work on getting some more younger bands in. We do searches, but we usually use particular search words for certain genres. And it's possible that bands that we would consider pop are labeling themselves in genres other than that, because these days that's what young bands do, and we're missing them. So I'll ask anybody who's listening, hey Barry, I'll ask anyone who's listening, if you know of any good young pop bands, and pop in our sense of the word, of course, who might be a good fit for IPO, send me a message and let me know who they are and where I can hear their music. And believe me, if we can find more young bands who want to play the festival, we will.
The better.
That's for sure. It's not just about people we've known for years. It's about keeping this genre thriving. So
Yeah.
We hopefully next year we'll have a greater representation of that. But anyway, I could talk more about that, but we've got some business. We've got a
Yeah.
great guest for everybody today.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
We're really thrilled that he's here. He's been a favorite of mine ever since I heard One Mississippi back in 1996.
Yes, indeed.
And every album since then has been excellent. Several have made my top 10 of the year. And he's got a brand new one coming out on Friday, right here, called Low Key.
Low Key.
And it's actually not all that low key. There's a lot of rockers on here. It's definitely back to rock form, after the last one, which was a little bit more produced in certain cases. This one is more stripped down, but the melodies are awesome. I'm definitely enjoying this, and I think everybody else who's listening will enjoy it. It's only on vinyl right now in physical form. Maybe we can ask our guest if there will be a CD eventually, but I'm sure it'll be on streaming services. Anyway, he's a member of my Power Pop Hall of Fame, and I'm sure if anybody else did one, he would be a member of theirs as well. So without further ado, would you please give a huge Material Issues welcome to Mr. Brendan Benson.
And there he is. Good.
What's up, guys?
Good early
Hey,
evening,
Brendan.
Brendan. Nice to see you. How you feeling tonight?
Well, like David, I too am getting over some sort of chest thing, man. Just like you described, it's
that time of year, right before the holidays really hit, when you've got a lot of things on your mind and you're promoting a brand new album and everything. It's like, hey, let's be bothered by something in my chest a little bit right now.
Yeah, let's just keep them humble. Let's keep them humble.
Keep them humble. You're still human, but
so Brendan, here's a question. I mentioned that you were in my Power Pop Hall of Fame. I've actually put one together. How do you feel about being labeled Power Pop? Because some artists, some love it and some don't.
As just generally speaking, I kind of don't like any of those labels. I always kind of cringe when I hear that stuff. But to be honest, I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? You got to kind of. I don't mind it. I don't mind it too much. Maybe back in the day, I felt a little stronger about not liking it, because, and I say back in the day, after my first record, I think I got labeled power pop a lot, and I was always kind of, I don't know, baffled about it because I didn't agree, and but
those
I think that's the artist's undoing, is anytime anybody says, oh well, you're that, it's kind of like no, I don't want to live in that box, I don't want to be in that, so it's more, I think, a sort of a reaction by the artist in me, or the creator.
I think those that will label you as power pop are people who like the genre to begin with, and they like what you're doing. So because they're a power pop fan, they're gonna say, hey, this is Brendan Benson, he's a great power pop artist. And that's
it's never going to be it's never going to be used as a put down.
Right.
For those that love the music. But there could be a soft pop, folk pop person who says, this Brendan guy, he does some really good folk pop, and you'll say,
I actually kind of like soft pop. I kind of like soft pop for some reason.
Yeah. But you're gonna get labeled by labels that people use because they need to describe you somehow to their friends or whatever. But
it's fair enough. But to ask the artist to do it is not fair, I don't think.
No. I would just say, well, pick up the album, listen to it. Let me know what you call me.
My thing is always, I think I've been sort of hell-bent around this, mission to for people to understand that I'm not a singer-songwriter, even though my name would suggest, or the name of the project is Brendan Benson. So it sort of suggests maybe singer-songwriter, maybe folk. I have a song called Folk Singer. Americana. I've been, people, I think just based on the fact that I'm a solo artist, a lot of times I get kind of lumped in with that. But if you listen to my music, that, I really kind of produce it up to make it sound like a band. That's the exciting
Right. Yeah.
stuff for me. I don't care for really any, like, you wouldn't call David Bowie a singer-songwriter, you know.
No.
Not
No.
to put myself in the same arena as David Bowie, but just as an example, just to illustrate the point, you know, I just I've always played music. I should have called it something else, but I originally, when, you know, before One Mississippi came out, the record label asked me, you know, what are you calling this? This is, you know, I was in my 20s, first record, totally naive and green, and they said, what are you calling this? And I said, I don't know, man. I don't want to call it Brendan. I don't want to call it my name. Give me a minute. Give me a few days. Let me try to think of something. But I was never able to think of anything. So we went with Brendan Benson.
And
so there you have it.
I worked for Jason Faulkner also. So
yes, right. I wonder if Jason would agree with me about that, because, you know, you, like I say, it's like, if it's somebody's name, it's automatically, I feel like it's like there's points against them. You know,
I never really thought about it that way.
I think
I've bought many albums in my life, and there are a lot of artists I can think of from the 60s to now who label things under their name, and it's got a big band. It's got a band sound.
You're right. Yeah,
they have musicians all over the record. So
right.
I never thought about it in those terms.
Well, if you're the artist, you see it a lot. You see people saying this stuff, you know, that like they haven't even listened to the music, like folk artist Brendan Benson, you know, or whatever, or singer-songwriter. I mean, yes, I'm a singer, and yes, I write songs and whatever, and it's all semantics, isn't it? I mean, it's all just like,
it sure is.
Just listen to the album.
It's a matter of you know, what road do you got to travel down to get people to know that there's a new album, and
yes.
they should listen to. We've got somebody chiming in. Shara Taylor says this album is awesome. So
she got it already. Good for you,
Shara. She's following me. She's stalking me. I love Shara. She's a longtime fan, man.
Oh, nice.
She's great.
Yeah, but again, you know, people label things, and I've probably in years past fallen prey to seeing a brand new album by somebody I've never heard of, but it's their name, you know, as opposed to an album that maybe is more descriptive of a band, the hazy way of living or something, and you're like, okay, what's that, you know? But I've grown older and learned to check everybody out for what they are.
When I saw One Mississippi, and I looked at the song titles and I looked at the cover art, I knew it was going to be a great pop album. And
really?
It screamed it all over the place. That's why I bought it.
That's awesome.
First place. And I was right.
And the new album, low key. First thing that I love about it is the vinyl, and there's 8 tracks on it, and that takes me back. I was telling David the other day, that takes me back to, you know, late 60s and in through the 70s when I bought an album, and there were generally 8 tracks, you know, and you had 4 on one side and you flipped it and you had 4 on the other. And it
sounds better too. Sounds better that way.
It sounds better that way sonically. And you didn't get overkill with 16 tracks or 18 tracks. And those 8 tracks always meant a whole lot more. And I listened when I got the files, you know, to prepare for the show. I listened to those 8 tracks as if I was listening to the vinyl, and I can't wait for the vinyl to come. And really well done, my friend. Right,
thank you.
Just a wonderful piece of work. And talking to David the other day about the subtleties. You know, I listened through the album once. I listened to it a second time walking my dog around the neighborhood. Then I sat down with headphones on and heard so many wonderful little touches that you put on so many tracks that make it so much more interesting. And I wanted to kind of get into that a little bit with you. Little moments like making sure the cymbal crash extends for a certain period of time before it disappears. I mean, are those things that you really concentrate on and say, okay, this has got to be just like this?
Well, yes and no. I think I do. I'm very attentive to detail for sure, but I mean, I think I just love the fact that you are like me and that we're kind of obsessed with these details. I mean, that's so there may not always be sort of planned or by design, but there's certainly things that carry me. I love, I get off on those little things, those little, musical acrobatics, or whatever. Like
the little
because I
click
could
of
say
the
that
strings before you
I would
go
say
into
the same
sport.
thing about listening to Elvis Costello, maybe, or something like an Elvis Costello record, like all the little in headphones, just
Right.
And I would scan those songs, man. I just listen to every little tiny little detail, every little background vocal, the tiny, little whatever, just that kind of shit is the best, I think.
One of
Absolutely
the greatest nuance pop records, for lack of a better term, The Moves' Chinatown.
Oof.
If you ever listen to that, there's all these little things that he introduces in each verse that wasn't in the verse before.
Right.
Certain chord change, a certain sound effect, whatever it was. I mean, with headphones especially. So, yeah, I'm totally with both of you guys. That is so important in records. And
I think
missing
so.
in a lot of them now.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to you, the things I listened to when I sat down with headphones with your album and going back and back and back saying, what was it? Let me hear that again. Those kind of albums, the kind of attention to detail is what really makes me smile. And I can see the effort that you put into it. And that's why when I gush over a new album that I get from an artist that I like,
I'm glad to hear you say that, because I do also appreciate that, but I think I'm the only guy who does. Like I think it's usually I'll think, like no one's gonna care about what you're doing right now. You're this little tiny, this little noise over here, or this panned hard sound effect or whatever.
See, that's the thing about pop fans, Brendan. We care. I've noticed this. I've noticed this with artists over the years. It never changes. They either think, nobody really cares about what I'm doing, or if it was somebody who had established themselves earlier, it's like, oh, no one cares about me anymore. It's like, no, they do, and they care about everything you're doing, and they care about all these little things in your songs.
Yeah,
no doubt. There are people out there. I'm
glad to know you exist. Then
we all exist
still.
And we're trying to spread the word. We got a Brendan. I've been a fan of yours for years. Also love that you contributed to the new Robin Hitchcock album. Great stuff, Brian in Denver. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, that's that record, the new Robin Hitchcock record. Woo-wee, man, that's so good. A lot of the stuff that I'm not on, I love so much. In fact, I just kind of heard it recently. Like, instead of listening to songs I was on, I kind of listened to some other songs. I was like, wow, holy moly, this record is really, really good. I mean, Robin is just a force of nature, and I don't know. He's something else, man. He's just like truly, like, just raw talent, man. He's just all talent. It's crazy. Which is nothing else.
Which is absolutely true the way you're looking at Robin Hitchcock. But do you have a sense of your fan base that looks at what you do in the same way as you look at a Robin Hitchcock? And
I can't imagine. No, I mean I'm up. Like, I know people are. What's that? I'm sorry.
It happens, and I hear it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Nice to know. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I think, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I think that it's kind of like hard to comprehend that about yourself. How you I just think that I'm, when I hear Soft Boys or Robin Hitchcock, that, I'm on, I don't know, another plane. It's like, I'm just out there, really studying it. I'll study his lyrics and, why did he do this? How did his instincts, his musical choices and everything. And I don't know. And it's hard to believe that anybody else or that anybody would ever think that about my stuff,
But they do, and like I said, I've interviewed so many artists over the years, and most of the ones, as you might say, in your plane, they feel the same way you do. They don't realize that there are people out there who put them on the level of put you and others on the level of the greats. And I'm sure, as a humble person, that's very difficult for you to comprehend or accept. But it's really true.
Yeah, well, that's very cool to hear.
I once was paid a really great compliment in regard to Robin Hitchcock. Somebody told me that my shirts are even better than his.
You guys
I'll
do
never
have the
forget
shirt
that.
game. You guys have the shirt game on lock.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
That's a nice one. Ooh, that one's cool too, Mark. I like
sounds
that one.
groovy. Serena.
I wish I could get my screen to be a little bigger, but really see the shirt in all its glory.
Well, you know what? You can watch this back on archive on the Material Issues page when you're in front of a
I'll
computer.
Be sure to do that.
And, now, Brendan, with the new album, it's and the 4 or 5 times I've listened to it heartily, relationships come into play through virtually every song that you write about. It's a very relationship driven record, and even the cover right down the line of Jerry Rafferty, which is fantastic. And I got to ask a little subtle question on that track. That's a relationship song as well. This
weird relationship.
Relationship.
Yeah. Well, if you like, I don't quite. The lyrics strange. Like he's saying, to his lover, presumably, you help me to kind of throw away those silly dreams, throw away all those, what's he say,
crazy dreams,
to kind of, crazy dreams, and kind of, grow up, or I don't know what it is, but I kind of, it's a weird, I'm not sure I like that. You know what I mean? I do like it in the song, of course, because it's just part of the song or whatever, and it's but I feel like, dang, did he get screwed over by some woman? I mean, like, did she make him?
I mean, that was going to be my question for you with some of these tracks on this album, as opposed to the previous album, where some of the tracks were so upbeat about great relationships or whatever, and this album, all of a sudden, it's kind of like things sounded like they were falling apart type of lyrics, and I was like, God, I hope it's not falling apart for Brendan.
Right.
I
think that's my I think Dear Life was an exception to the rule. Like Dear Life was kind of, I don't usually write, I feel fine. I feel great. Everything, life is good. I'm just not, I think I'm more interested in the darker side. And I like I like mixing or juxtaposing the darker lyrics with the kind of lighter music or happier sounding music almost. I kind of think that that's a little bit of my thing, maybe.
Yes, no doubt.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, just you're right. I mean, low key is definitely darker, kind of more not as I don't know, looking up.
Right.
But it doesn't mean, I want to just set the record straight. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's me all the time, or that I'm feeling, that way, or depressed, or life sucks. It's just that's subject matter that I like, that for whatever reason keeps me going.
Subject matter that you can see either in yourself or in others or in life in general, or whatever you're hearing on TV and happening.
Somehow it's kind of more compelling. Somehow it's more intriguing.
And wherever that place is coming from in your head and your heart, that lets you pour the lyrics down on a piece of paper. And, like a song, A Whole Lot of Nothing Without You is.
That's one of my favorites. For sure.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
It's a great track. And that's one that's filled with those little things that I keep hearing.
Yeah. Nice. I'm glad.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Well, Brendan, what compelled you to cover Right Down the Line? Because you don't usually do covers on your albums.
No, And I was, in fact, going to do a whole record of covers. That was the that was the original idea. I just needed something to, Dear Life came out in 2020, right when the pandemic hit, and so I didn't get to tour it. I didn't get to play it for anybody except on the internet or whatever. So I thought that I should maybe have something ready for when touring started up again. I would just have something new, something fresh to kind of really an excuse to tour Dear Life. And it soon be, so I decided, I thought I might do a record of covers, and I picked out those two, Right Down the Line and All In.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed, I think then I just noticed I had some other songs like that I liked, this Ain't No Good song. I remember, I was working, that was from Dear Life sessions. And I thought, this is good. I mean, I didn't like it at first. I didn't think it was anything. And then, but listening, when I was kind of trying to uncover or unearth some old songs, I heard it differently, and I thought it was really cool. And so, and then it kind of became, then I wrote a new one and blah, blah, blah. So it didn't pan out to be a covers record, but that's why it kind of Right Down the Line is on there. Cause I thought it turned out really well. I particularly liked my vocal performance on that song.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask you about that because where it's about to go into the bridge and it normally comes in, you delay it by a measure or whatever.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. I mean, right, David? Yeah.
Oh, did I? Wait, what happened? What'd I do?
Well, where it's like, I just want to say this is my way. Well,
yeah.
Before it comes in there, after the verse, there's that 4 beats, and then it's boom, I just want to say. And with your version, it goes boom, and then there's 4 more beats, and then you go, I just want to, and it's not where the original is. And I thought it was just a pure bit of genius to try to, because it's a cover track and everybody knows the cover track. It was a monster hit at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the street listening to your version, and I go,
oh shit.
And I'm thinking, okay, he's changed a little bit. And it's like, no, oh, there it is. And
oh no,
I thought it was really cool, but I that maybe we're discovering something here different that you didn't.
You know what, Brendan? Most genius is accidental.
There you go.
But it does come from the person, though.
Yeah.
It's not random. It's accidental, meaning
right.
the person who's a genius had to have created it somehow.
Right.
It wasn't just random.
Yeah.
I like that. That song was. I'm not surprised that I screwed it up. I mean, first of all, I'm playing drums on it. That was the funnest part to do. That groove is so great. But and I'm not the greatest drummer, or not by a long shot. But so I end up cutting things. Sometimes I'll have to cut things together.
Right.
So that one may have gotten away from me a little bit.
Well, I'm not saying you screwed it up. I thought you made it your own. But I was a little embarrassed walking by another musician's house a block over, and first time I was listening to it, I went right into I just got, and then I had to wait a little bit, and I went, wait a minute, there it is. So I like it. I like it a lot. So for anybody who hasn't pre-ordered the thing yet, make sure you pre-order it now, because then you'll figure out.
I gotta go listen to that.
What we're talking about. And
you got a clip set up, Mark?
I don't have a clip set up at all. No,
Okay.
no, I didn't want to go down that road right now. But see, BrendanBenson.com is going across the bottom of the screen. That's where everybody can head to.
Oh, cool.
To find it and pre-order it like I have. But then you'll hear what we're talking about. Everybody's sitting at home going, "What did he do? What did he do to Right Down the Line?" But now you got to get it. You got to buy it and see what happens.
Also, Ain't No Good was a great way to start out the album. It sends a message that you're back rocking.
Yeah.
I love it. I thanks for saying that too. I felt the same way. I was like, man, this is a great first track, Yeah. And that song took was an evolution. I think I had the idea. I didn't have any of those verse lyrics or anything like that. I just had the those snatches of "ain't no good" and "somebody's gonna get hurt" and all those refrains, whatever those are called. I was kind of playing with those originally, which were really just things that I would say to my kids, like or that you might say one would say to kids. I've got a couple kids, but telling them like, "Ain't no good gonna come of that." Chill out, calm down, or whatever, that kind of thing. So that was the idea originally. And that's why I think I abandoned it. I just thought, this is silly. What am I doing here? This is just an exercise. It's an exercise,
Right. Yeah.
But then when I heard it back later, I thought, wait, this is kind of, could be anything, could mean could mean whatever, anything. And then I wrote the verses. So that song is a weird, almost amalgamation or a Frankenstein song, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, but a great opening track. But talking about the tracks again, are you a lyrics guy first,
No.
or are you playing around with melodies in your head, and then just trying to stick things in there till it works?
It's usually it's kind of it's melody, but it's usually has to start with a lyric.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think lyrics are my strong suit, because I think I forsake them a lot. I think I kind of just say, this is fine, this works, maybe. And I'm also guilty, I think, sometimes of not, I probably shouldn't be admitting this. Sounds terrible, but not believing my lyrics, I mean, just thinking, well, it sounds good. I like the way it sounds. It's,
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not proud of that. I think that's kind of a cop out. But I just definitely, I kind of go more for the melody. I love it.
We've heard, we've talked with some of the best songwriters of the 60s and 70s here on the show, and and many of them will say the same thing. They don't feel, admittedly, that their lyrics are anything to write home about.
Right.
It's a melody type thing. But then
you talk even Paul McCartney. Listen to Paul McCartney's lyrics. Sometimes I think, like, come on, man, he doesn't believe that.
Right.
He doesn't believe it. But the thing about melodic music is, in my opinion, and I'm not a songwriter, so take it for what it's worth, but in there you go. In my opinion, it's more important for lyrics to sound good than it is for them to mean something profound. I mean, Bob Dylan, it's a little bit different, because the structure of his songs and the way he sings them are supposed to draw you into the lyrics. That's different. When you're talking about a guy like McCartney, for example, Hello Goodbye is about nothing. But
right.
It sounds so good. And it's one of my favorite songs of his, and always will be. And I think a lot of people would agree. I mean,
I think that totally. I think that's true. Like there's validity in that. I don't know, or David Bowie, doing cut and paste lyrics. I mean, just sounded good, fit the mood, the moment, whatever. And I think that's legitimate for sure. But I think not for like for long or only that. I mean, I think you got to have something else to hang your hat on. In the song has to say one thing to me, and then it's the excuse to write it, to finish it. You know what I mean? As long as it says the one thing that I can latch onto.
Well, yeah, and I go back to Dear Life. I played that album to death when it came out. I really enjoyed that. But even a lyric like from the Richest Man, what is it? Richest Man Alive.
Yeah.
When you say, "I got one hell of a good-looking wife," and but it's the phrasing of that lyric. It's the happiness of it. It's the gratefulness of it.
It's pretty sincere too. I mean, it's pretty like what's the word? Well, sincere, kind of honest.
I can hear that in your voice. There's a lot of artists you can't hear sincerity in their voice.
Yeah.
But a track like that, I can definitely. I
thought that those lyrics could be a little cringy too, but ultimately I was like, nah, man, I believe every word of this. So I'm singing it.
I will have to say that my favorite album of yours will always probably be La Palco.
Oh.
It was my favorite album of 2002, and I mean, I'd fallen in love with One Mississippi, but then when Lapalco came out, I thought, wow, this is even a step up. And I want to thank you, if you may or may not remember, that the folk singer is the lead-off track of the 4th edition of the International Pop Overthrow compilation.
Oh yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for that.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting that together. I was gonna say, like, I think I'm on a compilation. I think I'm on.
Yeah.
And I think, am I? Was there also another one that I do a Who cover?
Not on mine, maybe on another.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts.
But yeah, songs
Anyhow.
like Tiny Spark and Life in the D, Pleasure
Thanks.
Seeker. I love that stuff so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I like that record too. I'm proud of that one. Like One Mississippi, I'm not. I mean, I'm proud of it, but I can't listen to it. But Lapalco, I could still listen to Lapalco. You know.
Oh, good.
What's the future hold if everything holds tight with COVID and things? Are you going to get on the road with these last 2 albums and play a bit?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm kind of mulling that over, and things have changed since thinking I would go on tour with this new album. I've had a little bit of change of heart, I think. I don't know. I'm it sounds like I keep telling this story, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm complaining or whinging too much, but it's impossible or virtually impossible for me to make any money like touring. I got to pay a band. I got to, hotels and travel and all that stuff. And so unfortunately it's maybe just not, I can't afford it.
But have you given thought to just going out on the road by yourself with maybe a guitar playing friend or just a keyboard playing friend and just doing the two of you as I've seen Justin Curry go out and he brings his little side guy with him who keyboards and accordion and things, and because I would think that a lot of most of your music would lend to a much more personal environment.
This album definitely would.
This album,
I don't know. I wouldn't have said that about Dear Life, but I would definitely say that about this one.
But I think you could, and I think you could do some really interesting things on a much stripped down basis, and really connect with the songs and the people in front of you, and without having to go full blown band and sink that kind of time and money and effort into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've done it. I have done that, and I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it as much as playing with a band. Like I just, that's my, I don't know what is that? It's my
that's your
it's my, I keep like, I really want it to sound like this,
Sure.
And it's constant, and it's funny because you put out a record and people want to hear it all acoustic. They want to hear you just play it,
I'll tell you what, I'm a huge Delamitri fan. I just saw them last year when they came through Philadelphia on their, they're back and touring, and took my daughter, who's a big fan. She's 28 years old now. And it was incredible. But I've also seen Justin in a, coffee house setting with 40 or 50 people doing the exact same songs. And it blew me away. Yeah.
I mean, the artist probably, or I would want to present these songs in my mind, it's a big production, man. It's like everything's in there. It's thick. It's, everything sounds good. But the listener, the fan, probably would prefer I just sing with a acoustic guitar. So it's one of those like
they probably, like I do in many ways, they like to know more about Brendan. And
right.
Let's hear you talk between tracks a little bit and tell us.
Let's put it this way. I would prefer you with a full band, but I'd be happy to see you without one.
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately I probably will. I think, I mean, in fact, I was thinking about doing an acoustic show actually here in town in Nashville. So I'm coming around to that idea again, just, you know, not thinking that I can't, it's really just, it's so hard to break even like, you know, when I go on tour. I mean, I've had to pay to play, you know, like in the end, I'm like, holy crap, I actually paid out more, you know. So I think I will do some acoustic shows, some select acoustic shows. It's going to take me a minute though. Like it's been a few years, and the thought of doing an acoustic show is terrifying, because that's the other thing. You do the full band electric. You know, you got your boys with you, and it's loud, and, you know, it can be sloppy, and I can forget things, and, you know, it's okay. But yeah, man, when you're doing those,
you can also play electric solo. When Jason Faulkner played International Pop Overthrow,
you got to be good.
How he did it.
You got to be good. Like, he's amazing. That guy could play anything and make it sound great, right?
Well,
like,
Barry chimed in here. Barry Gutman wanted to know if you were still in touch with Jason.
No, I mean, not as a rule or anything, but no, I haven't talked to him in years. I mean, we just sort of, you know, went different, you know. Well, I moved. I think I moved back to Detroit. We did some work though. He actually came to Detroit to my home, and we, you know, worked on some music for Lapalco, and that was probably the last time that I saw him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's also super busy. You know, he's always on tour, so I don't there's not been an opportunity.
I don't think he's been quite as busy.
No,
I'm sure. I mean, to be honest, I think he'd welcome a call from you.
Yeah,
but he'd love to know what you're doing.
Yeah,
when we talked to him on this show, he didn't seem that busy, did he, David?
No, not as busy as he used to be.
Well, that'd be cool, right? That'd be great to make some music with him again. Really would.
Well, Shara, your fan says she would take any show, even a local residency where you don't have to travel.
So I guess that's what you were talking about, kind of.
Yeah, when you were talking about that, she chimed in a little bit there and wanted to let you know she'd take any show at all.
I kind of, I'm not surprised, Shara, and thank you.
That's nice.
I think she's great. She represents the voice of a lot of your fans, whether or not you realize it. It's true.
She is. She's head of the BB fan club, I would say.
Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, people love what you do, and when you got something new coming out, you know, they're hoping for a connection. And,
yeah. How are you liking Nashville, Brendan?
Sorry?
How are you enjoying Nashville?
I'm ready to leave.
Okay.
You say that as my wife and I are in discussions at this very moment about, like, you know, what's our next move? So that's why I say it just so bluntly. It was great for a while. It was really great because it was kind of small towny, but still had all the, you know, bunch of studios and musicians, crazy musicians, man, great musicians here. A lot, mostly country, granted, but still, whatever. But now it's just busy. Now it's just crowded. I mean, there's so many people here, man. It's nuts, really. Like, I'm just, you know, walk out my door and bump into people, and
wow.
And I think at my age, I'm like kind of over that. I just would like some space, you know. So I'm not sure.
What would be your dream location?
Well, by the ocean.
By the ocean, yeah.
For sure. But of course that's very expensive, and so we might have to settle on just a little lake or something somewhere.
A little lake and just splash it a little bit. And
yeah, just
places like that in Seattle that are beautiful, but of course you have to deal with all the rain. Who wants that?
And I want to swim. I want to be able to swim in the ocean.
Oh, there you go.
So, I mean, Florida is maybe actually might be an option. I never thought I'd ever say that, but
both my daughters moved recently outside of Orlando. My youngest works for Disney, and it's hot down there.
Yeah,
like May through September,
and a lot of rain.
a lot of rain, they just had 2 or 3 major hurricanes come flying through. But
yeah, and
I'm not a hot guy, so it's like if it gets to the point where I've got to be search for air conditioning everywhere, then it's too much for me.
Mark,
you're
don't
out?
sell
No
yourself
way.
short. You're really hot.
Thank you very much. Sounds groovy.
Don't flatter yourself, Mark.
Don't flatter. It's all good. But I mean, Nashville cost of living isn't too bad when you get outside of the city. That's Tennessee is one of the better states tax wise to retire to. But
yeah, that was a selling point, but no longer, because the sales tax is like what 9 and up or something, 9%. And then what are you getting for that? I mean, whatever, you get to keep more of your money, but I don't know. I feel like I want some space. I want a little piece of the pie. I want to have a nice little house on some water or something.
Portland might be a good option. I mean, the people there are so great. It is a wonderful city. Oh, you don't think so?
Used to be awesome. Portland used to be great.
Oh, used to be awesome. I haven't been there for 3 years, so maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Check it out now.
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
I don't know. I can't say. I really haven't. Well, there's the boardwalk, right?
There's the boardwalk. Yeah. There's the boardwalk.
That's actually pretty cool. There's a great bowling alley there, right? Like that.
Hey, the Bay City Rollers named themselves by essentially opening a dictionary and pointing. We'll put a map of the country up, take a dart, and there you go.
All right, let's do it.
Well, we wish you the best with this new album, Brendan. As David and I both heard it, so anybody who's watching, anybody who will see this on the archives, it's called Low Key. Look at that. Yep.
Yes, I haven't. I had the file, so I haven't opened mine yet. But wow, now I'm gonna have to, like right now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And BrendanBenson.com. That's where all the information is, correct, Brendan?
I think so. But that's kind of Oof, I don't know.
It's out there.
See, I love this. The sticker is still on the cover.
Nice.
Well, the sticker is actually part of the cover.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of we decided to do that.
I love that.
And I kind of like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because you always
kind of old school.
I love that.
Remember when the sticker would be on the album cover and you'd be like, "Shit, no, not on the thing, not on the not on the artwork."
I always actually liked it that way.
Did you? Okay.
Well, that's what. And now when I buy box sets or other vinyl that has the sticker on the cellophane, I always end up saving the sticker.
Yeah, putting it in the record or something.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why we did it. I mean, just also to leave the cover intact. Although I guess we didn't leave it intact. It just became part of the cover. But
will there be a CD version?
No. I decided not to do that. I just I don't like them.
No, well, you have the download code in there. So for anybody who wants to make their own CD to play in the car,
you can always burn yourself a CD if you need to.
So that's a good option.
Oh yeah, indeed. But fantastic record, really well done, Brendan. We wish you the best with it, and if you're going to go out on the road and you find yourself in Philadelphia, need a place to hang out, I'm right here in South Jersey.
Oh, cheers.
Same with if you come out to California, I'm in Reseda, about 20 miles northwest of Hollywood. So
all right, you guys gonna be sorry you said anything.
Yeah, we usually are, but that's fine.
Show up.
That's
who's at the door? Oh, it's
Can
Brendan.
I crash here?
I'll make sure nobody knows.
Thanks, guys.
Good. It's all good. Well, we appreciate you hanging out here with us on Material Issues, and
appreciate you having me.
Anybody looking for it again, it's BrendanBenson.com.
Comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Record's out tomorrow. Yeah.
I've seen it already listed on Amazon. So if you want to go that route, it should be available tomorrow on there as well.
And you can also get it in my bio on on Instagram. Like I'll have, I have a link tree there,
Oh, great. Yeah, good. Well, we hope it sells well because it's a good one. And
thank you.
Definitely wish you the best of luck, and we do hope you find a way to tour. I certainly do. I want to make sure I see you play. It's been
I gotta play some shows.
Time.
It's been a while. I gotta play some shows.
Yeah, we got you antsy and itching for it now. Good. Our job is done here, David. Brendan, stay happy, stay healthy. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks, y'all. You too.
We'll talk. Thanks so much for appearing on the show. We really
thank you. It. Thanks for having me. All
right,
guys.
Good night.
All right, night.
Wow, David.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Andy just chimed in.
Yeah, it's a great new record. I'm not just saying that. I really urge everybody who's watching to go pick it up when it becomes available tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be available in the UK tomorrow, but you can check your sources. I order a lot of stuff from Amazon UK.
Mm-hmm.
So stands to reason that somebody in the UK wants something a little earlier, they could order it from Amazon.com. Shipping may be a little more, but
right. And you can I pre-ordered it a week ago, so it'll be out the door as soon as it's available. But of course, with the holiday season and shipping, you want to order it right now in case you want to give it as a gift to somebody who's a Brendan Benson fan. So get it en route tomorrow, so you have it for the holidays. That's all I can say. You're going to love it, and listen to right down the line and tell me that we're not crazy, that the bridge doesn't come in when it's supposed to.
I don't see it as a screw up. Again,
neither do I. But I
see it as a different perspective, and sometimes that works.
But it's like when I mentioned it, and
Barry, it's the vinyl. I'm sure you're not anti-vinyl. The vinyl has a download code, so just burn it onto a CDR and listen to it that way. Meanwhile, you've got the beautiful vinyl. I mean, you can, the debate between CD and LP will rage on as long as both formats exist. But I think the one thing that people do agree on is that vinyl looks better. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to have the gatefold and I know some CDs are digipacks now. It just doesn't quite look the same. The vinyl generally looks better. No, I do. I actually burn CDs all the time to listen in my car. I don't like
blue vinyl, David.
Yeah, blue vinyl. I don't like playing my CDs in the car because they get scratched, and I just don't want that. So I just burn CDRs and play them. I mean, they're like 20 cents a piece now. So whatever.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful blue vinyl.
Yeah.
Although this one has a little piece of paper on it. Get off you. Yeah, blue vinyl with some swirls in there. It's nice.
Nice.
And these days colored vinyl plays as well as black vinyl.
And a gatefold album. I mean, that's old school. I love everything that he's done with this release. So that's a good one. That really.
And here's the download card that I got. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, just buy the vinyl and download it if you want to play it like a CD. I that option. I always prefer that artists do both platforms. But if they do the vinyl, a download card is just fine.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you can get away with it. But hey, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Billy Palicelli. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Billy. I don't know you, but have a good one.
He was on our show,
Oh, the week I wasn't. That's why.
Yeah.
It was when I was in Chicago, also sick.
Billy Palicelli of Artful Dodger, his birthday is today. So shout out. I know he likes to watch the archives here every once in a while. But and of course we mentioned Christine McVie and her passing because we've got a guest coming up in a couple of weeks that can actually talk about
well, before we get to the guest, let me show a few box sets.
What do you got? What you got that's new and exciting?
Well, this one will be coming out tomorrow, and a lot of people, of course, know it.
Oh
The
yeah.
Beach Boys' "Sail on Sailor" in 1972. It's kind of a follow up to the Field Flows box of last year. That one featured songs from the Sunflower and Surf's Up sessions.
Yeah.
This one features songs from the Carl and the Passion So Tough and Holland sessions,
Wow.
as well as the original albums. There are some amazingly cool stuff on here. My favorite thing is "All This Is That" a cappella. Oh my God, that sounds so good. Um, some songs that hadn't been heard before, um, like "Little Child, Daddy Dear," and what was the other one that I saw? For some reason, I'm forgetting it now. "Carry Me Home." Um, and you get the. I'll tell you another thing that was really refreshing: listening to Mount Vernon and Fairway again. The fairy tale that came as an extra 7-inch with the original Holland album, and it's amazing. We had Fernando Perdomo as our guest once. The way Brian does the fairy tale, he sounds exactly like Fernando. Of
Wow.
course, he did it 50 years ago, when Fernando wasn't even a thought in his parents, wherever you want to call it. But
Loins.
but it's amazing how much Brian sounds like Fernando. But anyway, there's some really cool stuff. A lot of alternate versions, a cappella, instrumental versions, a lot like Field Flows. About 90% is cool, in my opinion, and obviously then well worth getting. So this is the CD version. I believe there's also going to be a vinyl version coming out tomorrow. So
Wow.
pick it up.
Very cool.
Here's something that I ordered and came within a day. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. David Bowie, "Divine Symmetry," "The Journey to Hunky Dory." So this has all kinds of cool stuff. Some of which I've heard online. Demos from the Hunky Dory sessions, alternate mixes, a bunch of BBC stuff, live stuff. There's a Blu-ray audio as well. That's Hunky Dory is my favorite Bowie album. So to have this come out is definitely a godsend, and I can't wait to dig in. It's gonna be a little while before I get to it, but I certainly will.
When you let me ask you a question, David. When you say
Yes.
you can't wait to dig into a box set, I think we might have covered this briefly somewhere before. Are you a put it on the stereo CD, listen that way? Do you listen with headphones? Do you put it in the car and drive around and just kind of absorb things at many different times? Or do you really kind of sit down for a couple hours and get into it?
It depends on the box. I mean, if I get the files early, which if I'm going to review a box set, I generally do.
Yeah.
I'll make CDRs out of the files and I'll listen in the car. And then when I get the real thing, I'll listen on the stereo.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll listen with headphones. Sometimes I won't. I'll listen with headphones often with my, through my computer, wherever I get the chance. But digging in usually also means taking a look at the accoutrement, like the booklet, if there is one, or full book. Like on the Revolver box, that book is amazing.
Yeah.
The book is worth the price of the box, and irrespective of the music yet. So that does really count for a lot, having a really nice book along with it. I don't know what this Hunky Dory has. I'll have to look, but the music alone was enough for me. A couple of record store day boxes. Yeah. Todd Rundgren's "Something Anything" on 445 RPM vinyl discs, which is pretty cool. The discs have unique covers. So you've got, for example, if I can pull one of them out. Yeah, so it looks like they look like session tapes, which is pretty nice. Obviously, some people's mileage may vary, but this is the quintessential Rundgren album, in my opinion. I'm sure in the opinion of a lot of people. Rundgren from not far from you, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
And so this is a pretty cool record store day title. And I didn't know at the time it was actually going to be a box. I should have figured with 4 discs,
right.
but so I was really pleasantly surprised. So there's that, and then R.I.P. Rest Her Soul, Christine McVie, Fleetwood Mac, the Alternative Collection, which covers everything from the self-titled album to Tango in the Night, complete different versions, sometimes demos, sometimes finished versions that weren't used of all these albums. And this stuff was previously released on the deluxe versions of each album, but here you've got them on vinyl all in one place. It's really beautiful. It's probably one of the most extravagant record store day releases that has ever come out. I believe there's a CD version of this as well, if you want that. But again, record store day is fairly enough about vinyl.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, one of the things that used to just chat my hide back in the mid '70s, and I'm sure you remember this too, when people would say, after the self-titled became a huge album, and then Rumors came out. Like when Rumors came out, people will say, "I just got Rumors. It's great. Do you have their first album also?" I was like, no. The self-titled is not Fleetwood Mac's first album.
Right,
I'm sorry. I used to say no, I don't, because I didn't have the actual first album because it was way too bluesy for me.
Yeah.
I still don't have it, I don't think, but I do have everything from Kiln House on, and Future Games has always been my favorite and always will be my favorite Fleetwood Mac album. But the ones with Lindsay and Stevie are great also, especially in my opinion, Rumors, even though I'm sick of it, is still an amazing album. I love I love Tusk. Let's see, I'm blanking here. Mirage has a really, really cool sound to it. I've never heard an album with that kind of production. It's all really good. Definitely, if I had to make a top 10 of artists all time, Fleetwood Mac would have to be in there. Just if nothing else for Mirage, for Future Games through Mirage. Just
really?
consistently really great albums. Didn't matter. I mean, when they had Bob Welch, they were wonderful. Danny Kerwin was a great guitar player. I just love his languorous tones on Future Games and Bare Trees. Sentimental Lady will always be my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. Wow. But hey, I mean, they changed when Buckingham and Nicks joined. Obviously, it made them superstars. Good for them. Mm-hmm. They could both write the hell out of a song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But next people would always say, I've got Fleetwood Mac's first 2 albums. Like, I don't think you do. Making it a self-titled album, I think, threw people. Making the first one with Lindsay and Stevie, the self-titled, was probably by design, but it certainly threw people off to the history of that band. And just so sad about Christine. She certainly had an up and down life. I mean, her time with Dennis Wilson was probably, in many ways, the worst time of her life. She loved him, but it was a train wreck.
Well, we'll talk about it in a minute, but our guest next week was telling me stories of that just today.
Of that relationship
because he knew it intimately. And he basically said what you said. It was a train wreck. And it's interesting that you've tied in the Beach Boys Sail on Sailor box with the Fleetwood Mac box and our next week's guest too. So
tell us. Wait a minute. Is he our next week guest or the week after?
Yeah, next week, December 7th. Yeah.
Okay. Week. Yes. Oh yeah. Now I'm confused, but again, my head is all.
Well, we'll cover it real quick. So next week's going to be a lot of fun. Next Wednesday, today's Thursday, we had to delay Brendan for a day, but next Wednesday at 6 p.m., we're going to have the son of rock and roll, Rocky Burnett. And the son of rock and roll is absolutely true because his dad was Johnny Burnett, the Rock and Roll Trio. His uncle was Dorsey Burnett, who is the dad of Billy Burnett. And what band was Billy Burnett in for a while?
I don't remember.
Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, wow. It really does tie in, doesn't it?
So therefore, Rocky's got all kinds of stories about Fleetwood Mac, but he's got stories of so many people that he's worked with, opened with, played with. And of course, Rocky Burnett had a number 8 song in 1980 with Tired of Towing the Line. So
one thing I want to ask him and how this actually happened was how he ended up being big in Australia. And as before he was big in the US. And as I recall, the version of Son of Rock and Roll that came out in Australia didn't have Tired of Towing the Line on it. If I recall. I might be wrong, but I don't think it was on the album until the US released it to coincide with a hit.
Yeah, you could ask him. He's got a great story with that too.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I had the pleasure of meeting him briefly in the late '90s when Dwight Twilley's album, I think it was The Luck, was being showcased at producer Richie Polidor's house, or Podolor's house. And he was there, and we talked a little bit. Very nice man.
Yeah, very. Son of Rock and Roll has just been reissued on CD, remastered by Iconoclastic Records. So that's coming out. So it's just it's a thrill for me. I was a huge fan of that album, Son of Rock and Roll, and that track. And we're gonna have a good time with it. He won't be on with video. He doesn't have the capability, but he'll be live via cell phone and talking with us for the hour. So it's going to be a great show. So make sure you tune in next Wednesday right here on Facebook and materialissues.com on YouTube. Tell everybody, subscribe.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be fun. And the following week, we've got someone who had been scheduled in November, but ended up not being able to do it then, but can on the 14th. That will be Bergen White. Very well-known singer, especially songwriter back in the 60s, wrote a lot of stuff that people may not be aware of. Wrote a lot of stuff that was on the Hit Records label, which we'll have to talk about because that was that label was a very unique situation, putting cover versions out around the same time as the big hit versions. And some of the B-sides were written and recorded by Bergen and Bobby Russell, but most known in soft pop circles for having released the wonderful album from 1970 called For Women Only, which Revola Records reissued on CD about 15 years ago, I guess. Wow. I had the pleasure of meeting Bergen in Nashville in 2003. Really fine Southern gentleman, just great guy. And he's in his 80s now, but he really wants to do the show, and we really want to talk to him. So it should be a great time.
Going to be great. That'd be great. That's awesome. And then, as we always say, we always have irons in the fire. Always things going on. We're kicking around some ideas as we get through the holiday season here for some interesting shows. So. Stay tuned. It's always fun with Material Issues, Heck, we've done 80 shows now.
That's right. And very few have been train wrecks. So.
Very few have been train wrecks, and even the ones that you could call train wreck have been highly entertaining.
They usually are on some level. I think because I'm still kind of foggy-headed, let's table Stump the Bash until maybe next week. Hopefully by then I'll be over whatever this is. I know what it's not, which is COVID, thankfully. But it is something that has been just kind of wiping me out. Brendan said he has the same thing, and it sounds like he does.
Yeah.
So it's probably just something that's been going around the country.
Yeah.
That I picked up. But anyway,
feel better, relax.
Thank you.
Put some headphones on, listen to some of those box sets.
Oh, you bet.
And take it easy. And maybe Reno will make some homemade chicken soup for
I hope so. I'm going to ask her to make some more for the weekend. When she has time, she loves to cook. She's just
Excellent.
problem is she's usually too busy, but it's never a demand. You know, it's not. She never sees this as a chore. It's like, thank you, whoever said that. Yeah, so this was fun.
Yeah.
The full disclosure, Brendan was only going to be on for about 10 to 15 minutes, and he stayed on with us for about 45 minutes. So, you know, we really want to thank him for giving us his time, especially when he wasn't feeling well.
Oh, yeah. So make sure you go out and order Low Key, Brendan Benson's new album.
Absolutely. Tomorrow release date.
Yeah,
No
tomorrow's
excuses. Just go and get it.
and join us next week, right back here, same bat station, as they say, and we'll have a lot of fun with Rocky Burnett next week. Everybody have a great night. Yeah, stay happy, healthy, and enjoy the holiday season.
Absolutely, and we'll look forward to seeing you 6 days from today.
Nice.